goes all the way that way.
Uh-huh.
And this one just goes.
Mm.
There's a draft coming out of here.
Yeah. Ain't gonna work, is it? There we go. Hello friends, welcome back to the homestead. So we are still in the process of moving in. Still lots of chaos, still boxes of things everywhere. And one of the things that I wanted to get done today was the expansion of my pantry. So as you can see here behind me, and there's a window up there, so I'll kind of jump back and forth out of that direct light. I have a big shelving unit here on this wall, and there's another one there on the back wall, and there's a window. It's got filtered light coming through there. There's an overhang outside, so there's no direct light coming in to everything that is here, but it does make it easier to find stuff in here because there's additional light. I don't know if all of this will be permanent. I may at some point go ahead and build shelving like I did in our last house. You know, I had done shelving custom to pint jars, quart jars. I made it exactly the way I wanted it. It worked around the circuit breaker box and all of that, and just really utilized every bit of space in my laundry room slash pantry. That said, when we bought the house here, there was some shelving here. There was just two shelving units, but they were a lot smaller. And so I replaced them with these, which were bigger and had more shelves. I left the bottom shelf down there up really high, and technically you're supposed to put a shelf at the very bottom for stability. But I figured if I needed to, I could always anchor them to the wall. It's in the pantry. This is not an area where people will be, you know, there will be a lot of foot traffic or anything like that. So I think that they would be fine in there like that. And I raised the bottom shelf so that I could put buckets up underneath there. And you can see over here on the far wall that there's also some shelving. Now this shelving is really, really shallow. You can't put a lot on these shelves, and these shelves were here when we moved in. But what you don't know is, you know, we looked at the house and all of that, fell in love with it, knew this is where we wanted to live. But after we had already signed all the papers, when the owners left information about the utilities and all of that stuff here, they included how to get into the secret room. And we're like, secret room? What are you talking about? I think it's being overly generous to call it a room. However, it is definitely a hiding place. And honestly, when I saw it, it almost made me think of Corrie ten Boom's hiding place. I just thought it was really neat. And we debated on, do we keep it? Do we not keep it? What do we do? But we decided we really need the space. And so we're giving up the secrecy of it. And really, it was kind of hard to get into anyways. So I don't know how tactical it would be if we were needing to actually use it as something like that. A hiding place. And as you can see, we've been putting a bunch of jars in here, as well as we had put our firearms, or some of our firearms, in here, just because we were going back and forth and we weren't going to be here permanently. Now that somebody is here permanently, we'll take our firearms and go ahead and put them in our gun cabinet. And then I am going to utilize this space for more pantry. Oh, dude. They put a lot of screws in this. They put 2 screws for every shelf all the way down. I guess they wanted to make sure it stayed stable when you were rolling it. The problem is there's tile floor. You can't roll anything on this easy. That, or they needed to put bigger wheels on the bottom. Now I'm going to keep these shelves because they're good shelves. So we'll just use them for something else. So I got 2 shelving units, a narrow one and a wide one. And they put them together to make this entire thing to cover that space back there, edge to edge. I thought if I took those screws out, they would come apart. Now I don't think they're going to. Well, maybe that means we're gonna have to wrestle this whole thing out of here. Okay, I figured it out. They put screws on the back too. All right, so hopefully if we take these ones out, then it'll come apart. So got the 2 pieces apart, got this exposed. I took the larger section and I just took it out into the dining room for now. We're gonna keep it. We'll figure out what we wanna do with it. This one I'm gonna keep in here because there's plenty of room for me to put the other shelving back here and still be able to access everything. And then I will probably, you can hear Willow squealing. She has started squeal playing. I may end up trimming the top of this off so that it can fit on this wall right here under this. Or I may just leave it right there as it is. You know, we'll just have to see. But now I'm going to put together the other shelving unit. All right, so the pantry is finished for the most part. I have some other things that I'm going to do later on, but there we go. The shelf section that I left in here overhangs just a little bit, but it gives me a little space to stick my broom and mop and all of that stuff back in there. I moved my home canned preserves and all that stuff over here so it's not quite by the window, and then put all of my store-bought canned stuff, which I don't have to worry about sunlight, right there by the window. And there we go. Now, it's not 100% organized yet. It's mostly just kind of here. I'll get to organizing it later on and getting everything exactly the way I wanted, like all the canning stuff in the same spot, all the baking stuff in the same spot. But for the time being, this will work just fine, serve its purpose, and I can move on to other things in the house. Hello friends, so it is day 2. I am out here working on the first of the animal shelters, and it is going to be a toasty day today. It's going to be about 80 degrees or so. So thankfully I'm working in a little bit of shade. I'm working on the chicken coop. So the chicken coop, we're kind of putting it up here, sort of near the house. We've got the workshop right here. The house is back there, and it's a sort of semi-level area. We are going to contain the chickens. We don't plan on letting them run completely loose. That's kind of where we have fallen to, but we're giving them a good area. So they're going to have their coop up here. I'm going to put fencing down this embankment. It's going to go down all through here and then back up. We've actually got a set of stone stairs right there, if you can see them. So they're going to have all of that area down there and up here. And I know we're a little breezy today. I don't have any sort of external mic or anything like that for my cell phone. But this is what I'm going to have to film with, at least for the time being, until I can get my actual computer here. I do have a Chromebook, but I can't edit videos or anything like that with it. I can barely respond to comments. It's a little cumbersome to use. But in any case, this is what I'm working on today. So I've got the first cattle panel up. I'm doing a hoop coop. This is something that I've done many times. I've got a video. Well, actually, I don't know if I did a video on it. I know I have a video where I've talked about it. I do have an article on my website where I showed how I did this. It's super easy. The only change that I've made is in the past I put a piece of wood on the inside that kind of clamped the cattle panel to the frame. Instead of using a piece of wood, I'm using this. It's plumber's hanger tape. It's just easy and cost effective because, you know, a little piece of metal or a few little pieces of metal is going to be way cheaper than, you know, whole pieces of wood. So this is the route that I'm going, and hopefully I can get this done today, or at least mostly done today. I think the chickens will probably move here first, and then, you know, we'll work on the other animals. This piece is going to be a little challenging because this one's already attached, and so I have to get it in here and then kind of tucked up underneath the other one, or maybe over the other one. We'll just see how it goes. I think we're going to go under. Actually wasn't too bad. Easier than I thought it was going to be. All right. Now I have built quite a few of these cattle panel structures, but I will tell you that this little trick, this plumber's tape stuff, I got this idea from Living Traditions Homestead. I thought that was brilliant and had one of those, oh, why didn't I think of that moments? Boy, that piece of wood is really hard in that spot. All right, so I got this end framed out. This is the end that my door will go on. I'm getting ready to work on the supports for the far end. I'm actually going to put the chicken's door on that side. That way I can put the fencing right up to the sides of the coop, and I'll have access. So if I need to bring my cart out here with bedding or clean out or whatever, it'll be easily accessible and not inside the fence. The fence will go up to the sides of the coop, and they will have access out that way. So it is definitely warming up. You can probably tell my face is a little pink. It is toasty. And so right now I'm actually going to go have some lunch real quick, and then I'll get right back to work. Oh, and I'm gonna get as much done as I can. I'm probably gonna have to do a store run. I'm using lumber that I brought with me from Alabama, but I don't know that I'm going to have enough. Well, I take that back. I should have enough for this animal structure, the chicken coop, but I won't have enough to do the other ones. All right, so now we have the door frame finished. We have the back side framed out. That is going to be the chicken door down here. And I just put in a couple of these little 45s just for added support. That's not going to affect the chickens being able to get in and out. That is plenty enough room for them. And so now I'm going to begin covering this with the chicken wire. Oh wait, nope, I got one more step. All right, you guys, so I've got the chicken coop about 75% finished. However, I bought the wrong size tarp. I intended to get one that went all the way edge to edge, and realized when I was putting it on here, I got the wrong one. Got a lot done today. I ran out of wood. All of the wood that I used so far was wood I brought with me from Alabama, but I ran out. I gotta get some plywood, and I gotta get a few more 2x4s and all that. So that means I'm gonna have to go to the hardware store, the lumber yard, and it is not as close as it used to be. We used to live about 3 miles from everything. Not so much anymore, and it's a little breezy, so hopefully you can hear me. I was going to take you up on the mountain today in this video and show you some of the things that I discovered on our property, but I'm gonna have to save that for another day. I am absolutely wiped out, and I've still got to put tools away and everything else, and then figure out something to eat. So that is it for today. The homestead has begun, and there's a lot more to do, but step by step it'll be happening. So that's it for today. Thanks for hanging out with me here again at Cosmopolitan Cornbread in the mountains of Arkansas. I'll talk to y'all next time.